Okay, so we're starting this off again. We stopped recording for some reason, so we're doing this again. And the question I just asked, what would you say to what advice would you give to your teenage self?
Well, I would say be careful with peer pressure, which is something that I see that's even more dangerous now than it was when I was a teenager. And remember that you are yourself. You have to be proud of yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. And again, careful with peer pressure.
What would you say that you are proudest of?
That I was?
Proudest of. That you are proudest of. That you are the most proud of.
In my life?
In your life.
I think, when I think about it, I think I was a pretty good mother. So, and a good daughter. I was a good behaved daughter. So I suppose that's what I'm most proud of.
If you could hold on to one memory for forever, what would it be?
I think was going to the graduation of my children. It was a very nice memory that I had, that me and my husband had.
What's it called? What are your hopes for the future?
Well, at my age, my hopes are that I have a few more years in good health to be able to spend with my children and my grandchild.
What's it called? In generations to come, like if your great-grandchildren were listening, what would you want to say to them?
Well, I would say, what would I say? There's so many things that you have to say to a child nowadays, because in my time, I mean, when I was that age, when I was a teenager, and especially in Brazil, I had a very, let's say, it was easy at that time, and things have gone very different now. So again, I would say, watch out. Be honest with yourself. Try to be happy without hurting somebody else, and without again, be careful with peer pressure, with what kind of friends you choose, and don't forget to hear the advice of elderly people who have already gone through life.
Yeah.
So, almost more or less that.
What do you think is the most important? What do you think is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Oh, I don't know. What's the most important thing?
It's fine if you don't have one. There's no right or wrong answers.
The most important thing is to cherish the love that you have with your family, and And I was very lucky. I had a lot of love all around. So, and even now with my children who take care of me, so I think it's love.
What's it called? I'm just reading this. I'm reading through the questions. Do you have any regrets?
I do. I have one regret. I could have worked outside the house, outside the home, and I chose not to. And today, I think I could have, and I should have, because it's important. It's a very good experience. It's important to work outside the home.
Okay. When you were young, did you have favorite relatives?
Oh yes, I had my German grandmother, who was a fantastic person, and who used to tell me about her life in Germany and her travels in Europe, and especially about her opera, going to the opera, and the music, that she was very musical. She was a fantastic grandmother. And she died when she was 96, so I had a lot of time to enjoy her.
Well, I mean, what were your grandparents like? You've told me a lot about your grandmother, but I mean,
My parents.
your grandparents.
My grandparents. Well, I had what I remember well is this German grandmother who lived with us for a certain time, and the other grandmother was my Brazilian grandmother. Was a very nice person also, but very much the Brazilian woman of the house, so always worried about the maids and the food and the house. And while the German grandmother was telling me about the opera in Berlin, so in Europe, so and my grandfather, my German grandfather, I knew him from when he came. I was 4 years old, and I knew him well because he didn't speak Portuguese, so I had to translate for him.
Yeah, you've told me a couple stories about that.
So there was I, 4 years old, going to buy with him cigars and telling the girl at the counter that my grandfather wanted cigars, but he died when I was 10, so there was not long. I didn't have him long. And the other grandfather, the Brazilian grandfather, I really did not know him. He died young.
What were your parents like?
Oh, my parents were wonderful parents, really. And I only have fond memories of them. My father was hardworking and not traveled a lot, so he wasn't a lot at home. But when he was a happy person and spent lots of time with me. I was an only child.
Yeah.
And my mother was very nice and worried, as usual, like mothers are, and giving me advice and telling me to do things that sometimes I did not want to do. But I cannot complain. I mean, they were great parents.
I have 2 more questions, and then we can be over, and I'll just try and figure out how to get this thing on the website. But how would you like to be remembered?
Oh, I don't think much about it. But I suppose I'd like to be remembered as a fun person.
You definitely will be. And my last question is, are you proud of me?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm so proud of you. And so was your grandfather. Father, he loved you so much. And it's a pity that he's not with us anymore. But, oh, yes, you're a bright girl. And I hope you enjoy and you know how to use all the intelligence and that you have, and be a happy child, a happy girl, have a happy life.
Okay, well, that's the end of the interview.
Mm-hmm.
And so this will be posted on StoryCorps.
Mm-hmm.
And will also go out to my classroom and has the possibility of getting posted to the library, put in the Library of Congress because of the company.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's around it as far as privacy goes. And
There's nothing that couldn't.
yeah.
Not that. Those questions that.
Well, that's should be all for our interview here. Thanks, Vovo.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Love you, Vovo.
No, you know that we love you. Vovo and I.
Okay.